A dream comes true after years of sorrow. King Jungjo was the most reform-minded king during the Joseon dynasty and deeply cared for the well-being of the commoners in his kingdom. King Jungjo's father, Sado Seja, was killed during a period of political infighting within the kingdom, and so the king moved his father's grave to Suwon, where he embarked on building an ideal city in the most auspicious place in the kingdom. Hwasong Fortress was designated as a World Cultural Heritage by UNESCO in 1997. Hwasong was named after a flower because of its beauty. To build the strongest and most beautiful fortress in the kingdom, King Jungjo gathered together the most skilled masons and carpenters around the country and gave them his full support. These are the names of the masons and supervisors who built the fortress walls. Based on a long-standing tradition among Korean builders, the supervisors and masons would engrave their names onto the stone blocks to guarantee the quality of their workmanship, because back in those days, many stone structures had the tendency to fall apart and seriously hurt any bystanders. The most beautiful building in Hwasong was Banghwa Suryo-jong. This tower was built in a sacred spot that was said to be similar to the image of a crouching tiger and hidden dragon. The builders skillfully built the tower on the edge of a very steep hill. The long fortress walls wind around the city like a stream, and these winding walls create a beautiful sight around Hwasong. The walls were not built in straight formation. Instead, they were designed to follow the shape of the hilly terrain. They slope down in low terrain, and the walls have many curves. Invaders could have easily broke down the walls if they were not built like this. The mud walls were built to allow the soldiers to quickly attack any invaders. These walls also gave the soldiers a place to hide themselves from the enemy and then spring a surprise attack. They also reinforced the stone fortress walls. A rock was taken from this spot. There were a lot of high-quality granite rocks in Korea that were used as building material, so Koreans naturally became skilled builders of stone structures. Korean builders used wooden cranes to lift heavy stones to high places and used a special technique to split a rock into two by just using water and wood. Overlooking Hwasong Fortress is Sojangdae, which is a place where the entire fortress can be seen. King Jungjo left behind his personal legacy in Sojangdae. Sojangdae was a strategic military position that allowed a general to spot enemy movements and give commands to the legions of soldiers who were defending the city. Whenever King Jungjo visited his father's grave to show his respects, he would also carry out military exercises from Sojangdae. Jung'un-moon Gate is the largest gate of its kind in Korea. This gate is the main gate of Hwasong Fortress, and it was fortified with another wall built around it so that any enemies who breached the first wall would not have enough space to set up an apparatus to climb over the second wall. soldiers positioned on top of each of the two walls could attack an invader from all sides. If any enemies tried to set the front gate on fire to breach it, water would shoot out from the osangji to extinguish the flames. Hot oil was also transported through these holes to burn any enemies trying to climb up the wall. On each side of Jangangmun Gate, a chokdae was built to spot and mount a first strike against any encroaching invaders. The chokdae allowed soldiers to attack the enemies from their flanks. Soldiers would pour hot water or oil onto the enemies from their high positions. Paldalmun Gate is one of the four main gates located around Hwasong Fortress. The East Gate, Changyongmun Gate, and the West Gate, Hwasomun Gate. These large gates fortified Hwasong Fortress and made it into a powerful structure. During the hot summers, Hwahongmun Gate was a cool spot where people would come to. A bridge was linked to the gate, and it played a key role to defend the city. At the beautiful Fanghwa Suryujong, there were holes in the walls that allowed soldiers to shoot their cannons and guns at the enemies. These holes were also used to spot approaching enemies. In addition, steel gates were built around the water gates to ensure that no enemies could enter the city by water. During heavy floods, debris would get caught in the steel gates and block the water flow, so chains were attached to the gates to pull them up when this happened. King Jeongjo was concerned about the safety of his people all the time. The king wished to build an ideal city in Suwon, so he fortified the city by building large gates. And he also built two reservoirs, which were called Monsokgo and Chukmanje, for the farmers to make sure that the rice paddies had enough water during a drought. But in July 1794, the construction of the fortress walls was suddenly halted. The fortress was built around a city where King Jeongjo wished to stay with his mother, Hae Kyung-gung Hong, who dearly missed her deceased husband, Sado Seja. It was an order from King Jeongjo himself to halt the construction of the fortress.